Hey guys, it's Alex. This is my July wrap-up and June TBR video. Hopefully a little bit abbreviated because I have a problem with links sometimes when I talk about the books I'm going to read. But for my wrap-up portion of the video, I read 18 books this month, of which I still have 3. So, huzzah. I'm actually kind of disappointed with the 18 books because I don't think I've actually, well, it's a good number, but I don't think I've actually finished a book since like the 25th, which just disappointed me because I wanted to read like 2 or 3 more after that point, and I'm just disappointed that I didn't hit that, even though I know 18 is a lot if you just look at it, but oh well. My favorite books of the month were, I have both of them right here. I only have 3 books to hold up because I like returned them all to the library. And I've mostly just read, well, I've only read library books so far this month. But my favorite 2 of the month were Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia and A Season of Daring Greatly by Ellen Emerson White. I gave both of these books 4 stars, and I thought they were absolutely amazing. I would highly recommend them both, and I have review videos forthcoming at some point in the next 2 weeks, I would say, whenever I film and edit and, you know. My least favorite book of the month, I think I'm going to go with Once and For All by Sarah Dessen. It perhaps wasn't the worst book I read this month. I only had 3 books that I rated 2 stars. But it wasn't the worst book I read, I don't think. But it was the most disappointing. So I feel like that makes it more of like, it hit me harder and then I didn't like it, versus it being a worse book. So that I gave 2 stars. I didn't give any books 1 star or 5 star this month, which is not uncommon for me, but huzzah, the 3 books I still happen to have. Oh, I also gave The Girl Who Fell 2 stars, I think. Oops. That was a bad book too. So I gave 4 books 2 stars. Yeah. I am going to do a slightly abbreviated TBR because most of my books are carrying over from previous months, from June and July's TBR list, that I haven't gotten to them yet, but I still plan to. I haven't removed any books from the TBR, it's just I haven't read them yet, and they're still carrying over. I just don't feel like talking about them because I've already talked about them, you know, sometimes multiple times already. And if you're really curious, go look at those videos. They're way back in my history, but you can find them. I'm just going to go through the ones that are new and the ones that I am currently reading. For starters, I'm still technically reading 100 BS Jobs and How to Get Them, Lovecraft's book of short stories, Waking Up Screaming, and War and Peace, but I haven't touched the first 2 at all this month, and I haven't touched War and Peace in like 3 weeks. So I will get them read. It's just the first 2 aren't really the kind of books you have to like sit down and read as a narrative, because they're short stories and a non-fiction humorous book. And then War and Peace, I'm trying to decide if I'm going to keep reading it. I'm not sure. But these are the 3 books that I'm actively reading. The first is The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank. I have been reading this since the middle of June, I think, and I'm just like a bit over halfway, which is super disappointing, but I'm having the hardest time reading this book. It's super important and worthwhile. It's just such a struggle reading experience-wise. The second book is Reading Lolita in Tehran by Azar Nafisi. I have started this. I'm about 100 pages in. I had to stop because I had to return it to the library and then check out a different copy, and I haven't picked it up since then. It's been like 2 weeks, I think, but I will get into it again. I just finished the first part, and I will pick up and read the last 3 parts, but I'm really enjoying this so far. The final book on my currently reading list is The Pleasures of Men by Kate Williams. I'm not super enjoying this, and I'm really confused as to what's going on, and I've been struggling with this for a couple of days now, and I'm not very far into it, but I will get through it. It'll be fine. It's not like horrifically bad, it's just very, very meh. Very slightly lower than meh. But I will finish this hopefully in like the first 2 days of July. Fingers crossed. And then onto my to be read, I have Smoke Gets in Your Eyes and Other Lessons from the Crematory by Caitlin Doughty. This is a memoir about a girl who worked in a crematorium, and I saw another booktuber talk about this. They read it and it sounded good, and I picked it up. I don't remember who they were, so if that was you, I'm sorry, and you made this book sound good, so I picked it up, and I'm really excited to get into it. And it's really short, so even if I don't like it so much, it should be a quick read. But it looks like really funny and cute and interesting, I hope. Next is Hidden Bodies by Caroline Kepnes. This is the sequel to You, which I reviewed a few weeks ago, I believe. And I really enjoyed You. I've heard mixed reviews on this book, but I'm still hoping that despite that I will enjoy it quite a bit. You didn't really have the kind of ending that necessitated a sequel, so I'm a bit hesitant and I have no idea what it's about. I'm just going to start reading it without knowing, but hopefully it will be as good as You was, because I gave You 4 stars. I don't have all the books to show you, but I have The Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead, and I have the other 5 books on hold at the library because I plan to read the entire series this month. I just want to get through these, and if I read the first one, I'm going to want to read the rest of the series, so I might as well just get them all and binge read them all at once. And they're all like 300 pages, I think, so it shouldn't take me too long to do it. I also have Look Again by Lisa Scottoline. This is about a woman who sees her adopted son's picture on a missing kid's portrait on a milk carton, and it's a thriller. And I read another one of her books like a month or 2 ago, I think 2 months ago, and I think it was back in June, and I gave it 1 star because it was awful. But this was on my Goodreads to be read list, and I wanted a thriller and I didn't have any, so I just picked it up off the shelf randomly because I couldn't find any other thrillers that I hadn't read or that were on my list at the library. So fingers crossed this will be much better than the other one, because it's been a long time since I gave a book 1 star. And the final book I have to talk about is In the Garden of Beasts by Erik Larson. This is about an American family. This is nonfiction, and it's about an American family who lived in Germany during the 1930s, so Nazi Germany. And I believe the father was an ambassador, and it follows him and his wife and their teenage daughter, older teenager, I think, young adult. I think she was in her late teen years, as, you know, the Nazis take over Germany and everything happens, and sort of how the Americans deal with it in this situation. And I'm really looking forward to reading this. This looks amazing, and it looks right up my alley. I believe it's creative nonfiction. I'm really hoping, because I much prefer creative nonfiction to regular nonfiction. But even then, the subject material looks really interesting, so I'm looking forward to this. And I know Erik Larson has published several other books, and I'm really hoping this one would be good, because I would like to read his other books that also look quite good. But if you've read anything by him, let me know. If you've read anything by any of these authors on my TBR, please do let me know. I would like to hear what you guys think of them, because I haven't read most of them before. I think I've read like 2. Just if there's anything to be wary about in my list, please let me know. And let me know what you read this month and how many books you read and what were your favorites and least favorites. I'm always curious as to what you guys are reading if you haven't posted your own wrap-up TBR videos yet. Bye, y'all.